Good afternoon, students. Our topic today is WH words using was and were. So let's start. As a definition of was, we can say that is the past tense of the verb to be in singular. Okay? When we say verb to be, we remember am, is, are, right? But not all the verb to be, just is in singular. For example, am and is. Examples. Rocio was in Canada. I wasn't studying German. Martin was at home yesterday. It wasn't working in the morning. You see, Rocio is like she. I is the first person. Martin is like he. It is the third person in singular too, but for objects, for places, okay, for animals, right? Now, about were is the past tense of the verb to be in plural. What does that mean? Is the past of are. Examples. Rocio and Carmen were in Canada. You weren't studying German. We were at home yesterday. They weren't working in the morning. As you can notice here, we have some sentences that are affirmative and some of them are negative, right? When we talk about the negative form, we just add the word not. Look, today we're going to focus on the interrogative form. That is why we're going to analyze this. The formation of the question using was, okay? In this opportunity, I have an affirmative sentences. He was nervous. This is affirmative. When I want to write a question, the place change. He was changed the place, and now in question is was he nervous? The possible answers: yes, he was, or no, he wasn't. Right? What about where? Look, in the case of where, we have the same rule. We change the place. The subject comes to the second place and where comes to the first place. They were happy is in affirmative, and in negative, in interrogative, were they happy? And the possible answers are yes, they were, or in negative, no, they weren't. But remember, it happened when we start a question with the word was or the word were. But what's wrong or what happened when we see a WH word or WH questions word, like who, what, when, which, where, how, and why? What are we going to do in that situation? Look, in this chart, in this chart, we are going to analyze that. When we have a WH word, like for example, in this chart, we have some like where, again, other example with where, okay? Or how long is also a WH word or consider a phrase to questions, okay? Here again, where. What happened? This WH word or questions word comes at the beginning of your question, okay? What does that mean? It's going to be before was or before were. When is was or were at the beginning? When we don't have questions were, okay? For example, where was Emilio Palma born? He was born in Antarctica. He wasn't born in Argentina. Where were Venus and Serena born? They were born in the USA. They weren't born in Canada. Question with was. Was he born in Antarctica? Yes, he was. No, he wasn't. What about how long? How long was Neil Armstrong at the moon? He was there for 2.5 hours. He wasn't there for very long. Where were his parents from? They were from Argentina. They weren't from Antarctica. Question with where? Were they Wimbledon champions in 2000? Yes, they were. Or no, they weren't. So in those examples, we can notice that when we find a question's word, it comes at the beginning of the question. So let's analyze a little bit more. Remember, when we have a WH word, it comes at the beginning. Then the use of was or were. Then the subject, okay, and the complement. This is a questions word, or this is a question with WH word. What about when we don't have WH word? We just have was or were. So in this case, use was and were or were at the beginning, then the subject, and then the complement. Now, we're going to see more exercise in our book.